These are times when the biggest car brands bent their rules for celebrities. When Cristiano Ronaldo ordered the Bugatti Centodieci, Bugatti rushed their workers to make the car, just so it would be ready for his 36th birthday.
Okay, my friend.
Even F1 drivers like Lewis Hamilton got a Pagani custom-made just for him. When Mr. Bean himself crashed his McLaren F1, even though McLaren refused to fix heavily damaged cars, they let Atkinson fix it, and funnily enough he flipped it for $8 million profit. But what's more crazy is that Rolls-Royce made this crazy exception only for Drizzy. Rolls-Royce has a no-tolerance rule about their Spirit of Ecstasy where no one is allowed to touch or change it. But Drake was allowed to feature a custom-made diamond-encrusted owl on his Cullinan instead. Here are some cars that were the last to feature something. Like the last Lamborghini offered with a manual transmission was the 2012 Gallardo, while BMW built the last naturally aspirated V8 on the E92 M3. We have all seen the iconic pop-up headlights, and many cars used to have them before they were deleted from existence. The last we have seen of the pop-ups were on the C5. Since then, no car has them. Shockingly, the Saab 9-3 had the key where your cup holder would be, which made things a bit difficult changing gears. The 2009 350Z had no electronic aid, and the Lexus SC430 was the last car that had a folding hardtop. Ford Crown Victoria was the last time a car was made on a sedan chassis, and the Audi A3 is still made for babies.
Have you ever seen a small and rusty Fiat with a V12? You haven't met this German. He flew all the way to Italy. They bought a broken-down Lamborghini Murcielago, and instead of rebuilding it, they thought it might be better to fit the V12 in a Fiat. The engineers got to work. They transformed the body and put this massive engine in it. The first time it ran, it broke down, but the second time, it was different. They got it working somehow. It hit major news in Italy, and it is thought that it was bought by a certain Hollywood car enthusiast. In the end, it is still a rusty Fiat with a larger price. How did owning a Ford Focus ST make this guy famous? You see, Turn 10 Studios, the ones behind Forza Horizon, ran into a problem with getting it for a car model in the game. Ford wasn't helping since they discontinued the Ford Focus ST. Turn 10 Studios ran into a big problem finding a stock one since every single one either had a spoiler or weird rims. Some were even slammed. So, Turn 10 Studios decided to Sherlock Holmes this investigation and finally found this guy. This is John from Belfast who daily drives a Ford Focus ST and rarely posted a photo of him with it. One day, he got an email asking to take pictures of his car. He brushed it off, but next day he got a call and he realized what was happening. 10 Studios got the car, took some pictures, ran it on a dyno, and boom, Ford Focus ST in Forza Horizon 5.
Why does this driver never get caught while doing these crazy stunts? Well, this is license, and he showed us how he avoids arrest in an interview. First of all, he never drives cars in his name. Instead, a crew member rents out untrackable cars, and he simply just removes the license plate or puts a fake one. If he crashes, well, he's gone in an instant, without care. You might be wondering how he avoids police. He knows every twist and turn in the city, and eventually he goes to a secret underground garage where he drops the car. Also, choppers can't even chase him, since if you go over 120 miles per hour, the choppers won't chase you.
Why are American cars so rare in Japan? First off, American cars don't really fit the Japanese culture, since the Japanese like more modest and small cars, while Americans love trucks and big engines. But the question remains on why Japanese don't like American cars. While Americans love cars like the Mazda MX-5 and the RX-7, well, it all comes down to this. If you own a Ford Raptor in Japan and you need parts to fix it, you have to wait for shipping, and you have to pay shipping fees. While you have local brands like Nissan, Mazda, Honda, who make better cars that are cheaper and faster.
This is the first V8-powered Tesla ever made, and it was made by this guy. He is rich rebuilds and is known for rebuilding cars and doing crazy things like this Tesla. He found a water-damaged Tesla, pulled out the engine of a Camaro SS, and slapped it on the Tesla with some other parts from other Teslas and a new 6-speed transmission. He got it working, and it looked amazing. And with this, he made the first V8 Tesla, and he called it the Ice-T. Truly a one-of-a-kind car. We've all heard how Ferrari sues anyone who touches their car. But how did this guy get away with it? See, Ferrari hates people making crazy builds with their car because they say that it ruins brand image. But Manzuri still does it. And no, they don't have a deal with Ferrari. If you ever see a Manzuri, you can notice that there is no Ferrari logos anywhere, not even on the steering wheel. They avoid the lawsuit by just having no Ferrari logos. But one guy made Ferrari furious. You see, the famous DJ Deadma bought a 458 Ferrari Italia and decided to wrap it neon cat theme and named it Ferrari. Ferrari responded with a lawsuit demanding the wrap be removed. Instead, he replaced all the logos with Ferrari and later sold it. After that, he bought a Lamborghini Huracan and, funnily enough, named it Huracan.
Why is the Porsche 911 called 911? And no, it has nothing to do with what you're thinking about. In the early 60s, Porsche released their new model, the Porsche 901. It looked amazing, and everything was ready, up until release. See, the numbers 901 were owned by Peugeot. And not just 901, they own every single three-digit number with a 0 in the middle, like 404, 504, and 301. And they didn't like that. So Porsche was forced to change the numbers to 911. But there were some models released with the 901 on the badge, and today they're a collectible car for collectors.
Do you know why some cars have the gas cap on the right and some on the left? Well, this wasn't a problem long ago, because old Chevys had the gas cap in the middle. Some cars even had them hidden, like behind their taillights or behind the license plate. But this was made without realizing that a simple crash would make the car explode. So they decided to place the gas tank in the middle, but this came with a different issue. Where should the gas cap be placed? Well, the gas cap sparked a nation difference. While the cars in Japan have the gas cap on the driver's side, so you won't waste time walking around the car. The cars in Europe have the gas cap on the passenger side, since in Europe's gas stations there are still workers fueling your car. What do you think? Is it better to fuel your own car or have someone else do it?
Do you know why America is so obsessed with monster trucks and Ford Raptors? Well, it all comes down to needing to feel superior to Europeans. Americans began using trucks and big vehicles to symbolize their power and strength above other cultures. But what makes trucks so special? Well, trucks have more space and can pull a lot of weight, like campers and boats. In America, gas is much cheaper than Europe, so big and beefy engines are very common. For example, Europe has a much different opinion on big cars, and usually Europe's sedans are much better than Americans. What is your favorite truck? A Ford Raptor or a Ram TRX?
Have you ever seen one of these? This is a horsepower hellhound. The Dodge Hellcat SRT produces 707 horsepower and 2 school buses of torque. This American spirit animal happened when Dodge decided to ruin Europe's reputation about killer cars. Supercharged V8, you probably won't see the headlights of it, although there is some history about it getting awfully close to people. This thing is a race beast. It does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. For example, a Bugatti does it in 2.5 seconds, while the Hellcat matches that with a bit of tuning. While the Bugatti is worth 10 times more. What would you choose? A Hellcat or a Honda Civic with a laptop? This is a normal Ferrari Enzo, with a V12 that produces around 650 horsepower. And this is the knockoff Ferrari Enzo, called Insanity. The owner, Ryan McQueen, was fascinated by a drag car he saw at a meeting and decided fluck it and made one himself. It took him 5 years in various materials to build the body from basically nothing. He threw on 2 Rolls-Royce jet engines and made this crazy car. It theoretically produces 18,000 horsepower and can go over 400 miles an hour. Ryan McQueen also stated that you can experience similar levels to flying in a jet, like a 4G force when starting and 5G when braking. The name really fits the car. Do you know why people even like Japanese cars? Well, it's a complicated answer, since there is so many interesting things about it. First of all, Honda basically invented a 4-wheel drive system years before it came to be elsewhere. They have a whole new engine system called the Rotary engine that uses a spinning triangle to complete the engine fire sequence. Also, the Japanese car scene has so many legends, like the R32 Godzilla that dominated car races, the legendary Supra, and the beautiful Lexuses. In the 19s, McLaren's F1 team used Honda engines to win titles. And we have the prettiest of them all, the S14. This car just makes you drool over it. Do you think Japanese cars are better than European and American cars?
Porsche has a massive problem with thieves stealing their headlights. And they won't call the police since they are hiding something illegal. Thieves come up to the car, take the headlight carefully, and it's gone and never seen again. But the reason why they steal it isn't for home light use, or maybe reselling since they are worth more than some cars. But then police found them in a secret grass-growing operation. Porsche's beautiful xenon headlights are cooler than normal grow lights, and they can't be seen on police thermal cameras. Did you know that Koenigsegg has a problem that no other brand has ever had? Koenigsegg recently started releasing a lot of new models that don't even make sense. It's all because Christian von Koenigsegg is a genius among other car manufacturers. He has managed to sell all of his car stock. People have bought all A125 Jescos, including the Attack and Absolute versions. But what's even crazier is that even the Sedair Spear, their newest car model that haven't even started production, has sold out. People have pre-ordered every single one. Good luck on buying a Koenigsegg.
Did you know that instead of the traditional piston moving up and down, there is an engine that is arguably better and has higher performance? At the Mazda factory in the famous RX-7, they decided to use one of these. It works by a triangle-shaped spinning and taking air and fuel and tossing it around. It can produce higher RPM faster than normal engines, but it consumes much more fuel and has terrible emissions, so it's a no-go in Europe. It is much smaller than a V10. That makes it lightweight, and it's used on a lot of project cars that have one seat, maybe a steering wheel, and this type of engine. Do you think the rotary engine is better than a V10 or an inline-six engine? Do you know the difference between diesel and petrol? Well, if you don't know what that is, basically on the back of a BMW, if it says 3335, it's a petrol car, while if it says 330D, it is diesel. Diesel and petrol are different types of fuel which the car uses. Diesel is a better, more economic, and better for nature, while petrol is more about hearing the engine growl and scream at high speeds. Most Europeans prefer diesel, even though it is worse, because with diesel comes more problems, like the DPF filter and others. While with petrol, maybe you will change a piston or two, but it's worth it for the power. Petrol can produce more power, and usually, the 335i is a car enthusiast toy to work with. The things they do with this car is insane.
Do you know that spinning flames actually increases horsepower? But first, let's take a look at how the car spits flames. It all happens in the exhausts. Some car brands like Lamborghini and the Aventador SVG have a system where some fuel leaks into the exhaust, and when you press the throttle, the fuel burns up and spits flames. While it's not a good thing for the car, it sure looks cool, but continuous use may cause a rupture to the exhaust pipe. But then again, people love it, and it definitely does increase horsepower. Although the horsepower increases in our hearts,